Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib Open Mic. There's a link on the right-hand side in case anybody'd like to join the show. Um, Bounty 12 is going on. Yeah, it's but I guess the big news is Major Rampage is moving on to replace Johnny Depp as the star of Pirates of the Caribbean 6, yet to be titled. This is unconfirmed, but it's a possibility since he announced today on Rampage Live that he's moving to LA. And, you connect the dots and that's where you are.
Yeah, they got a post on forums about it too. The new temporary. He's only a temporary CM. He's not going to be a permanent.
Yeah, he's a CM manager that's been around for years. So yeah, we'll see who we get to replace him. So all right. Well, at this point, in case anybody would like to join right now, there's Toxic. I didn't see you online, Toxic. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Pretty good.
How's everyone?
Okay. Let me go ahead and introduce everybody. Well, I've already introduced Toxic, and he introduced himself. And I'm also joined by Dr. Death.
Hello.
Hey, Doc.
So anybody else have any I don't like the fact that we're in a period of time with Battle Pirates that we're seeing a huge amount of turnover in the knowledge base of both the game designers and the at this point the community manager, where we got a lot of clueless people showing up, and that doesn't always work out well for the player base. So hopefully there's some people behind the scenes that we've never seen that do have some amount of knowledge of the game and can keep us going or put us in a good direction. And we're also joined by Magic Mike.
Yes, I'm starting Monday. I'm packing things up, getting ready to go to San Fran.
Nice. See. Well, are you going to be the new community manager? Or are you going to be the new...
Don't let anybody know about that. But
okay. I hear you were going to be the new PvP expert.
Yes.
Yeah, balancing PvP.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm going to balance it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put it on the head of a needle. Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Hi, everybody.
Hefe, what Rampage didn't know a lot. But he was growing in the game, so that was starting to show some promise. But something that I'm really concerned about is I'm afraid we're going to lose our communication with Kixeye again. The first we lost the whip, and then while Rampage reports didn't tell us a lot, it was still Kixeye coming out and talking to the player base. So it was still some form of communication, and we did learn some things out of it. You know what I mean? So it was better than nothing. It wasn't as good as the whip was, but it was still a lot better than nothing. And now with Rampage leaving, are we now going to lose that too?
I'm assuming we're going to lose it for a period of time, because I think for somebody to go live on a show and really provide us information in a live manner, they need to have some knowledge of the game. And I can't imagine them bringing in someone new and just having them, spout about Battle Pirates live unless it's highly, highly scripted. So I would more expect maybe a game designer, if they want to continue this path, that would come out, or potentially Wrong Thinker, even though he doesn't have a great knowledge of the game at this point, because he's only been associated with this game as opposed to War Commander. He's only had about a month of interaction with the game, and as we all know, the game's a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. So it takes a little catch-up time. And people did see some issues with when he came on as a guest on Rampage Live, as far as thinking that tech level of your base level actually meant anything. That was the big screw up in my mind that showed me that he didn't have as much of a knowledge of the game as you would hope.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is, does that mean that we're going to go back into a period of darkness? to where the community is not going to be hearing anything from Dick's eye. Only the select few that get to go to the town halls and get to do the preview servers are going to have any knowledge of what's happening in the game.
That's a possibility. I mean, yeah. And then Border Reaver is mentioning Robot's report because Robot's been a CM and he has a lot of history with the game. So that combination, that could work. When we saw him as a guest on Rampage Live last week, it didn't look last Friday. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's the most talkative person in the world. He didn't really have a lot of words for us. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it progresses. But Robot seems like, by his resume, seems to be the best candidate if they're going to just transition over.
Well, yeah, because he does at least have some base knowledge of the game.
Like he designs all our targets.
So, that would, at least then we'd be talking to somebody that knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll have Magic Mike interviewing him, based on what was said earlier in the show. But
won't be long.
Yeah. So let's get on to the actual gameplay. I know Mike is hitting targets in Bounty, but not actually in Bounty, which is interesting. I found that interesting to watch.
Well, I'm prepping.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
What, prepping the my opponent bases?
Yep. I was doing it for a member of the Alliance that needed some help.
Okay.
I just can't be asked. I'm sour on it for some reason. I'd like to get the scope, but I guess I could start Sunday and maybe amass 5,000 points. I don't know.
I gotta say, I want to throw this out there because I've been getting a lot of messages, hate mail from people that know me, saying that my advice of getting on and doing the drip and that way you can at least get a prize out of Bounty, telling me that was just total BS. And so I promised all my friends in my Alliance this raid I would not put a single coin spend a single coin during Bounty. I wouldn't repair a fleet, wouldn't repair my base, wouldn't repair my dock. I would just play it like they do. I got to say, this is the worst freaking experience I have ever gone through in my life. I mean, it's just total BS. I went out, hit some bases, got into one that I lost my fleet in, put it to repair last night. My base keeps getting hit. So, my dock's down for 3 hours and then it gets 1 hour repair on the fleet. And then I get hit again and it's down for 3 more hours. And then I get another hour towards getting that fleet back. And that fleet that I put in my dock last night to repair is still repairing right now. I don't see how non-coiners and small players are having any fun doing Bounty at all. So I apologize to everybody out there that sent me them messages. You guys are right. If you ain't willing to spend the money or have some really good tricks to where you stay where you're worth absolutely nothing at all times, this event is just junk.
Yeah, it's a matter of stockpiling point. Like you mentioned here, the last line. It's a matter of finding different ways to be within the game, not unintended features, but just within the game to be worth very little to people. Be worth less than, or only be worth something for a minute or two. Because you're also doing the defensive hits, right, Dr. Death?
Yeah.
Okay, where you get 1,000 from that, and then you get 800 4 times a day, so it's 3,400 a day. And then you could hit some replica bases, but don't become worth a lot, or put out a Conqueror guard fleet that's going to take some time for them to kill it, and you can have a chance to cash out, to secure your points while they're hitting that.
Oh yeah, and I agree those are good tactics, but that's extreme that a player has to go to those extents just to be able to play the game and hope to get one little prize out of it or 2 little prizes out of it. You know what I mean? They're not ever going to make it to the top prizes. That's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? There's no way that'll happen at all. And then on top of that, it's not only the bounty that they're being shut down on, but when that duck's down for 3 hours and they've only got a 4-hour bubble, that's shutting down their whole game. You know, it's slowing down their research, their builds. It's keeping them out of TLCs. They can't go out and do their chores. You know, I mean, I didn't realize how bad it was for the little guys and the non-coiners in this game during an event like this. You know, for me, it was always great. You know, if someone hit my base, oh, whoop-de-doo zingers. I'd instantly coin my base and coin my guard fleet, and then I was back out on the map playing, you know, and didn't even care about it. 4-hour bubble, oh, well, if I'll go do some chores now, and then I'll hit a base, drop my bubble, and keep on playing, you know. But not spending coins, it's a whole different experience. I'm not enjoying it at all.
Yeah. And then I'm sorry, go ahead. I thought it was somebody else. Okay. I mean, the other thing that people have been doing historically is frebbling, where basically you have somebody that's going to do 25% to your base, and then you have a 2-hour bubble to go out and hit whatever during that period of time, and 25 or 50% or whatnot. They don't have to be even involved in there. You know, pull your fleet, do whatever. I mean, it's a situation that they created, and the players don't like. A lot of players don't like it on both sides, but it's what they've set up, and they keep on. What's the word? They keep on tweaking it in order to make it an enjoyable experience. I even at Bounty 12, this has been going on for a year. I'm not sure that they've got to that point in time. So Corey, Toxic, Mike, Corey and Toxic, you guys haven't spoke about your Bounty experience yet. How are things going?
Oh, I'm not doing Bounty.
Oh, okay. Why not?
I ain't got time for that.
Okay. Alrighty. And Toxic?
Yeah, I started, but it's, I don't know, it's just boring. It's hitting those little bases, those your opponent bases, and it's, I don't know, it's sort of gotten stale. That's all I can say. I don't know. It's plus you got to do the chores. You want to get I want to get the FM blueprint. I need titanium. I need this. I need that. So you need to do a lot of other things as well that are more important to me than the bounty. So I've got a couple of thousand points, but I'm not going to get I'm not going to get all the prizes that I want. Let's say like that. I may not even get the ones that I need. So yeah.
Yeah, it's and there was a lot of prize inflation. There's a ton of prizes if you guys watch the Wednesday show. I mean, the number of prizes available just creeps up every single time, and it just increases the budget. I guess because there's certain players that go out there and they're the larger corners, just go out and create these massive points. And what else do I do with the rest of it? You know, I'm going to quit. You know, I'm going to quit doing bounty, not quit the game. But they're creating an economy that allows them to keep on adding things to the game. And allowing.
But isn't content overload one of the base things that's causing all the major swings in this game? Because they're dropping so much stuff so fast that they can't keep it balanced.
Yeah, and the players have lost. I mean, what was it last week or week before? You know, we're getting new specials now. At that point, it was over 280 specials that we have to be able to identify on site. You know, when you're building a ship, and now we're adding more. We haven't fixed some of the old problems, but we keep on adding specials on there. And it's fine for people that are like get handed builds by people. But it's probably even difficult for them to sort through all 280. And it's only pictures until you scroll over it. It's some of the unwieldy mechanics in the game are not helping them.
It's not just the specials and the stuff. I mean, I would have been happy just to get one special and get all the building tokens, the ship build tokens or the conqueror tokens and all that sort of stuff. But even that, you're into the 20,000 when you're getting all them. It's just it's not as good as it was. I don't know if I can express myself right, but I mean, when it first started, it was great. You'd hit something, you get a fair amount of points for it, and you'd go get your prize afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just you got to grind, and then they put something in the FM that you really want, that you once in a lifetime offer or whatever that's it, once a week or only for 1 week. So you want to get that as well.
And well, that right there, Toxic. That right there is the problem. They're running a second raid, but during the second raid, we still have to do our chores, our FM, all that stuff.
No, they're running. I think what Toxic said, they're running 2 raids right now.
No, what that
2 raids concurrently.
But when you play
the FM raid,
it's like a raid.
Which feels like a raid?
The FM this week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're running 2 raids concurrently. They're running bounty, and then they're running the 9,000 or 8,000 points that you need to get. Well, just for the first prize. So you basically need to get. I haven't got it all. I've collected over 10 million or 10 million. Is that right? I have the decimal place in the right point. But it's like 10. I've already collected over 10 million FM points, and I still don't have everything. I still don't have all the chests or whatnot at this point. It's do I have the numbers right? Is it millions? I forget.
Yeah, it's millions.
Yeah, it's millions, all right.
Yeah. They're running 2 raids concurrently, and it's something I complained about before when they're, they keep on running. It's like they don't, because next week we're probably not going to have anything to do. As far as organized, they'll probably not have a great TLC or anything else going on. They keep on wanting to pile stuff on us all at the same time. It used to all be in week 1, but they didn't do it in week 1 because they had the XP weekend, and then they had, what was the TLC? It wasn't something tremendous.
Previous Otis or whatever?
That's this week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like there wasn't a lot to do last week. It was one I think you got Manicore tokens, and only got like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
But then this week we have,
DLC or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So.
Well, you got 2 TLCs running at the same time as the FM and the bounty. So, and you got your, if you want to build something, you need a whole heap of titanium. Well, go get that. That's not a minute thing.
This was, but the whole reason why they did this FM this way was because they were hoping that the coiners would coin their fleets to grab the new Conqueror hull and then coin that sucker to use in bounty. That's what Kixeye was hoping for. Whether it worked or not, I don't know, because I have not seen a single person with the new hull on the water. But I know that's what the reasoning behind releasing the hull this week was. They were hoping that the whales would be like, oh, a new toy, I need it for bounty, and they'd spend $900 getting the ship out.
I mean, I think it's a great idea to have the Greta in there.
Yeah.
In the FM. I think it was a great idea. Get as many people the important tools so that they can then play in the game and enjoy it. That's great.
But I think the Greta should have been dropped next week instead of this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's either way because they're going to drop the 117 and they're going to drop the 117 off the map. So I didn't mind it because, it takes a while to build it. And so I'm not sure if is it harder to get 8 million FM points or 40 million raid points?
Well, for the smaller guys, I would say they probably couldn't do it in the raid, and they're at least able to do it in the FM, but blocking them out of other stuff, because there's no way they can be participating really in bounty if they lose, because if they lose that dock, that's it.
Yeah.
Plus, you got 7. How many? You got 7 days or 6 days in the FM?
6.
6. Well, that's a couple of days longer to grind it out.
Right, you can grind it out, but you got to grind out like 56 of those 111s to get the prize. I think is what my numbers were. I think,
and I think you're close enough. I think it's 53.4, so 54. Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Right in that ballpark. So if you lose your dock a couple times to where it knocks you out of the game for a day or two, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to make the prize. You know what I'm saying? So there's a fundamental flaw in that. That's why I'm saying the Greta should have been, because they said it's only going to be 1 week. This is your only chance to win it. So they should have done it on a week where it wasn't corresponding with bounty if they really wanted the players to all compete in bounty and the little guys to still be able to, have a good chance at achieving that goal.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's my whole thing. I was trying to bring up is like, realizing what the burden is on the player per week, and this seems like a high burden week. And normally week 3 in the cycle, normally we have the raid, and then we have week 1, which is VXP, which is very intensive, not as far as playing time, but as far as repair time. And then you have week 2 with bounty. So anytime you combine these TLCs or what they did this week, which we'd never seen before, is asking for an extravagant amount of points associated with the FM. I mean, many times what we're used to. And that's going to require repair time or a lot of seat time, depending how it's done by the player. But, we'll see what comes in week 3. I mean, it seems like a lot of time in week 1 and week 2, but normally week 3, it's a very dead time in the game. It's like they build up and they have all this stuff that they plan and they want to get it out as soon as possible. So as opposed to somebody sitting there and going, no, let's push that off to another week. That's a down week. They don't seem to, in their mind, create a calculator of like, okay, this is going to require a ton of repair time. This is going to require a ton of seat time. Let's spread all this crap out over the month and balance it so the players feel more comfortable playing the game and don't, unless that's not their goal. But that would be my goal, is to try to make a even playing experience every week. Maybe a little bump for the raid, but, not have a couple weeks, 2 weeks that are tons of stuff's going on, and then 2 weeks where there's nothing going on. I don't know.
Well, my tinfoil hat's screaming that this was done precisely targeting towards the whales. I mean, I really do think that's what they were targeting. They were hoping that the whales were going to run out there on Wednesday and just smash their fleets and repair and smash and repair and smash and repair until they won the new Conqueror hole, and then throw it in the yard and coin that sucker so it'd be ready for Thursday for bounty. That's what I really think Kixeye was hoping for. I don't know if it worked, but I've not seen the new hole on the water yet, so not looking, but that's what my tinfoil hat's screaming. That this was not a player's first thing, that this was completely a coin grab. They were hoping they were going to generate some cash out of this.
Yeah. What does everybody think about the sale in the daily store?
Wait, all the tokens?
Yeah. Okay, not much thought on that.
Some of them bought one today.
Just look at it. Sorry, you go, Mike.
No, I was going to say I actually bought one today. First time in probably 4 months or more.
What'd you buy?
That was the 2-day. Hold on. I think it was a 2-day. And wait a minute, it's on there. Hold on.
Inferno.
Inferno. 2-day Inferno.
Mm.
Because it was 60% off or something. It doesn't show the price.
66 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I popped that.
Yeah.
Last time I did it was, I'll bet, in February. Last time I bought anything.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was just wondering what everybody thought about it, because I sort of felt like it was a decent move as far as because the older stuff, I'm not, a lot of players that probably watch the show aren't in that thing to buy like icebreakers and skyfires and whatnot. Those were 90% off, at least in my daily deals. But then you had the Inferno Dragons and the Mana Cores that were like 66% off. Yeah, if this happened, every week, wouldn't players? I mean, it seems like there's a lot more value out there than what we're used to.
Yeah, I think that was a good move. I think that because there are players that are small coiners that will jump on deals like that when they come out. But I don't, I hope Kixeye keeps going down this path. You know what I mean? I think that doing the deals cheaper like that and generating some income off of that would be better than some of the other things they've been trying to pull in the game. So good move on that part for Kixeye.
Yeah, at least it's an option, and who knows where the coins came from? They could have been from tickets or whatnot.
They were. Mine were.
Yeah. But I'm saying, at least as far as from the player base, it's like, that looks like a deal, that looks like a deal, and they may buy it. I'm like, either way. But it seems like it's better than what they've been doing. It's more what players want to buy at a more reasonable price. I'm not going to say it's reasonable. I'm just saying it's more reasonable than it was previously. So
when they're 30+ off, I actually think about it.
Okay. So
yeah, the 1-day shipbuild token is what would have interested me.
They don't offer that too much anymore.
Yeah, the generics, they want to guide you down a path at this point in time. The generic shipbuild tokens, as we've seen, they got removed from the raid. They're still on the FM, thank God. But they've been limiting the generics for, a couple of months. I'm not sure. Are we going to say 3 months? They've been limiting significantly the generics.
Then they'll sell them for a high price in raids and bounties.
Yeah,
No, the generics aren't even. What we got a 12-hour shipbuild token in the bounty.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only generic token we got, isn't it?
Well, you can sort of call the Conquerors a generic one as well, and the Defenders, because you can use them on more than one type of ship. For me, anyway. But it would have been nice to have that 60% off as well. Keep it in line. You got 90 at the bottom, 60 at the top. But it's just me. But all in all, it's a good deal. If you need tokens for Many Cores and Inferno Dragons, great. Even better if you build Phoenixes and Icebreakers and Skyfires. But if you're just after the tokens, the generic shipbuild tokens, then yeah. Even Heckle and Jekyll's complaining outside. I don't know if you can hear him.
Yes.
Don't everybody talk at once. Did we lose Hefe?
Hefe must be on a beer run.
Probably.
These offers, for the little guys or for the lower players, they're great, and I hope they keep them going, because that's one of the ways that they can, quickly improve with deals like that, and only 10% of the normal asking price. It's it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I will give Kicks kudos for the deals on the tokens in the store. That's not a bad deal. So, you know, that one they've done pretty decent. You know, but man, there's so many things that Kicks needs to change and work on. And this change in management they've got going on across the board on the game just scares the piss out of me. You know, because none of these guys coming on board know anything about the game.
Isn't one from the Rogue War Commander, and the other one from, what did I say, Vega?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe they'll bring some new ideas. Maybe they'll work. Maybe they won't. It's hard to say.
Traditionally, every time there's been a big change in the team that's running the game, it's gone bad for us. You know, and then they spend months trying to pull things back together. You know, a year ago we had another big change, and that's when Rampage and all them came into the game, and look what happened. How's this year been?
Yeah, but I don't know. They've done a few good things that they haven't done last time when things got changed. I mean, they're starting to bring out a few good deals. They've got that new what's that new defender called? I can't. Crusader, is it? No, not Crusader. Well, the one on the bounty anyway. Half-hour repair time.
The Curator.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, got a half-hour repair time, so they're going the right way about it. You know.
Well,
let's see where it goes. Huh?
Yeah, I said on Wednesday that seeing the half-hour repair on the Curator was a great thing, because the defender holes needed to be brought down on their repair times to match their counterpart, the Conqueror holes. That's something that's been needed to be done for a long time. But that's one step. You know what I mean? And, you know, we've seen if you watched Rampage reports today, you know, he said there's some real big changes coming in the pipeline. And then on forums, they stated there's some really big changes coming down the pipeline. But these changes are coming from people that have no idea how the game is actually played. If you don't know how the game is played, then how are you going to implement something successfully into it? You know what I mean? That the players are going to enjoy, because you don't know what the players want.
Let me play devil's advocate. Let's just say I work for Kicks and I work for the Rogue Assault War Commander game. Doesn't mean I don't play Battle Pirates.
He stated he doesn't play Battle Pirates. He stated he does not know the mechanics of the game, and it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get up to par. Both him and the new Big Boss both stated that. So they don't know the mechanics of the game. They don't understand what the players want. They don't understand what the players are complaining about, and they're going to just blindly start dropping changes into the game. Now, some of them may pan out good, but that's like we're rolling a crapshoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. I mean, I don't frequent the forums and
Yeah, this new Chris guy posted on the forums. It's going to take him a little while because he doesn't know the game, so it's going to take him a little while to learn the different aspects. And then last week on Rampage reports that new Big Boss, you know, on there, he stated, and he even blundered quite a few times through the show, showing that he didn't understand the game either. So if the people that are running the game don't understand it, you know, they may have some great ideas for what they think might be great in this format of game, but that doesn't translate to the players are going to think it's great, because they may take the game up in a totally different direction than what we want it to go. Whereas if they were someone that was actually playing the game and understood the game, were part of the community, then they would know, hey, this is what the players are complaining about. This is what we really should be focusing on getting fixed. Or we need to go down this path this way, and it's going to make a lot of the player base happy. You know what I'm saying? But without that knowledge, they're just rolling the dice and hoping that, you know, they don't get snake eyes.
Yeah, fair enough. But, you know, all in all, I mean, I know that Battle Pirates is like, you know, you got very passionate players that think that, you know, it should all go that way, this way. But, you know, in the end, we're gonna have to bend whichever way the Kickstarter wind blows it. And if you don't bend, you break, and then that's it, and play gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, but how many more people do we want to lose?
Well, we don't want to lose any. We want to gain people now. We want to at least retain the player base that we got, and bring the mid-level players up to par, and the low-level players up to par.
You know, I was on Battle Pirates page on Facebook the other day, the Kickside, Facebook page, and they had a post on there that the management team, our players, or people too. And I posted to them because they were talking about we should stop bashing Kickside and all this and everything. And I posted a post. I told them, I said, you guys have created a very unique in the gaming industry format in this game. These players, we've all been together for years and years and years, and players have gotten to where we've got very long-lasting friendships. And I know of at least 8 different couples that met on this game and got married. And I've known so many players that'll travel the world to meet their companions and their alliances and stuff. You know what I mean? People will take their vacation in another country and say, "Hey, I'm coming to see you." You know what I mean? The community of this game is more like a family than in any other game I've played on the internet. And so when Kickside is doing something that's hurting the player base, it's like they're hurting our family, and we're gonna get upset. We're not gonna roll over and say, "Hey, that's fine. You came in, slapped my wife. That's cool. I'm happy with that." You know what I mean? No, the player base is gonna revolt because we're just too intertwined with each other. Even the people that we war with, it's still, the banter and the friendship. It's all there. And I haven't found that in another game. That's what made this game so great.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely, Doc. What do you think the aspect of this game that lends it to that? Because I completely agree with because I've gone through those life experiences from 6 or 7 years ago all the way up to today, as far as people that you've never met or whatnot are you have a closer connection than you would just chatting with somebody on Facebook or do you have any clue what part of the game is creating this? Is it us versus Kickside? At this point, I feel like it's that, but it didn't used to. It didn't used to be us versus Kickside. It used to be us against the world. It used to be like drawing players together and into groups and feel like are we going to war with each other, or it felt what part of the game do you think is causing this? Because they need to can that for other games.
Well, I mean, to start off with, it was the fact that they had it set up to where there was, you had the 4 primary communication outlets. You had the forums. Players banter back and forth on the forums all the time. I can't tell you the number of times that me and Borton, and he's a great player, but me and him have just bantered back and forth so many times on the forums, it's not funny. Or then we also had the sector comms, we had the alliance comms, we had the base messaging. That right there opened up so many different avenues of communication. And then people grew together and they would share their builds with each other, you know what I mean? And try and outdo somebody else's builds. And people were sharing patterns on targets. There was just so many different aspects. You can't label it down to just one thing that caused this. Just the overall design of the game caused this. You know what I'm saying? And it was a great thing. And it brought so many players from around the world together in a really tight knit to where people get really sad, even people, there were, I can't tell you the number of players that didn't like Price, but when Price quit the game, there were so many players that were upset about it. It was like they were losing their brother. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, this community is just too tight. And when Kickside is doing things that hurts it, we do rebel. We get up in arms, and forums go to total crap, and and you see it in the comms and you see it in the messages, and the players get upset, and it's all the way from the biggest players all the way down to the non-coiner players, because it didn't matter. If someone was a coiner, it was just somebody that was helping out somebody else. You know what I mean? I can't tell you the number of times over the years that I've dumped money into this game and then gone out and carried somebody that was a small player up to a point where they were standing on their own 2 feet.
Yeah, and Lady Cat says we bonded over similar interests, and that's very true. But don't other games have that? I'm just trying to figure out what's special about this game. I mean,
It's the open lines of communication. That's what locked it all in. There's other games that have strong communities, but like like World of Warcraft, you know they had a strong community, but you only interacted on a one-to-one player basis. Whereas in this game, you drop into a sector and you say hello to the sector, and you're talking to 100 different players. You know, and you may end up with 3 or 4 friends out of that sector that become lifelong friends with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I completely understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to figure out like if there was like one kernel or nugget of what they've done here that that they might want to understand. But the bigger point is you don't want to you have a player base that even when you fuck up as Kixeye, that are still staying around and be like, oh well, this game is fucked up, but they're still staying around and they're still talking to each other, and they've created a commonality amongst the player base. But I'm just trying to figure out how they're doing it, and because it's like
I don't think they know how they did it. To be honest with you, I don't think they know how they did it. I think psychologists could actually study this and write books on this because it's unique in the gaming industry. I haven't seen it in any of the other thousands of games I've played in my life.
Because the other part, like War Commander and Vega Conflict, you can all communicate in the same way. So there's something different about this game than the other games as far as, I don't know if it's the demographics of the player base or something else, because you have all the same, you have all the same parts of the recipe coming together with the other games, but they don't seem to have, it doesn't seem to create the same community, or the fact that I just ignore Vega Conflict after they decided my builds were too good, and then they reset me back to nothing, and I quit playing that game. But yeah. Go ahead, Toxic.
About the audience age range.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The demographics of the game. You're a little bit different, Corey, than the rest of the demographics.
Yeah, it's generally a lot older players that are playing this game.
Yes, and I'm wondering if that's part of it.
On McDonald's, before McDonald's, there wasn't a McDonald's. And before Kentucky Fried, there wasn't a Kentucky Fried. It was just the right time, the right game with the right atmosphere, at the right people, and bang, it's Battle Pirates, and that's what it is now. That's what I think. It just
the right time in the right place. Yeah. I do understand that, because that's one of the arguments that I've been having with people as far as recently what's been going on with the game, with the BP app, for your phone, which I'm fine with. But like all the games before that were available on Facebook were just like click something and something random is going to happen. And you've seen that me and George have argued over the fact that you have to interact, you have to do something. You can't just click a button and then something's going to happen. You need to spend some amount of time, and there's knowledge to be spread amongst the community. And so it creates the situation where you want to talk to each other because some person may have knowledge that you don't have. And it's sort of like spreading knowledge associated with the game. And
I think that might be FA, because if you come in and you've never played Battle Pirates and you try to play this game, you won't be able to do it unless you interact with the community.
Yeah. And sometimes that feels forced, but yeah, I mean, some people want to be lone wolves and just watch stuff, but yeah, I do understand what you're saying. Yeah, I was just wondering if there was something that anybody's figured out, what the bottle for other games, that created the community in such a way that players feel like you're next to them. That it's not somebody from 1,000 miles away or 3,000 miles away. You feel like you're there with them. You're all in the same group together. Lady Cat's seen it in other games. SimDate 3 doesn't count.
Oh my God!
I mean, I used to play.
Corey's on the leaderboard for that.
I used to play a game called Kingdoms of Camelot before I played BP, and all that would happen in that game, you'd see an arm with a hammer, and it'd go like as if it hammers down a nail, and that's all the movement you would see in that game. But it was also an addictive game. And you waited for, like, you'd build trebuchets and catapults and archers and spearmen and all that sort of stuff, and you could attack different bases, and you would have to wait. Like, some of the bases may be 40 minutes away, so you'd get a few people together and you'd attack that base, but you'd have to wait 40 minutes. So you just sat there and waited for 40 minutes. And I played that game for I don't know how long, a few years, till my son got me into Battle Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But did that game have the community? Did you make the friendships and the alliances that you've made in Battle Pirates in that game?
No. I couldn't say no. Not like there was no video calling like we have now, Google Hangouts. Like we have Google Hangouts. I have that with a few friends all over the world. But this all started with TeamSpeak and RaidCall and all that sort of stuff, and then maybe you'd Skype once in a while, but Skype would lag you out.
Right, but you had to do that. You know what I mean? That's how people helped each other out. That's how they got together and battled together. And you know what I mean? Because I pay for Ventrilo for my alliance. I got 56 different people they can get on, and I got 27 different chat rooms they can go into to discuss builds or discuss strategies or who are we fighting next, where are we moving to, you know what I mean? And it's just a massive, the game itself takes a small amount of time compared to the amount of time that the players spend communing with each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's the same here. I mean, I've made friends all over the world, and not even, I've met one, and it was great. It was awesome. We'll be friends for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
But what it does, I don't know. It's just the right ingredients at the right time, and it just happened.
But Heavenly's right. If they can figure out how to bottle that, whoever figures out how to bottle that and put it into games is going to be a millionaire.
Hello.
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 How's your bounty going?
It sucks. To put it in one.
What are you hitting?
Same thing as everybody else, to your opponents.
Yeah,
nobody in my thing that you could steal. So, few people that do have everything, you can't get in their bases. And prep it and then come back. I pray they hadn't come back on.
Yeah, this secure feature is really stagnating base hitting, I think. Because players are too worried, if I hit the base and I'm not going to get anything, then I just wasted my fleet.
Yeah, I normally just listen to you guys. But I was like, yeah, you guys are talking about demographics and meeting people, and I'm a truck driver. And I've actually, when I get to a place and I know people in that area from the game, I actually stop and I'll try and meet them.
Oh, see, that's a good. See, I got about 3 truck drivers in my alliance that I've met that do the same thing. As they're driving across country,
Yeah.
if they stop in Indiana where I'm at, they'll stop by and say hi. We'll have a beer together, shoot the shit, you know, and they'll be friends of mine for the rest of life. You know, it's like I said, you know, I've played a lot of games in my life, but I've never found a game that was this intertwined in the community. You know, I got a friend that lives down in New Zealand that flew up here this past summer to just to meet me, and then went on up to Canada to meet another of my ally mates. You know, that was their vacation. You know, so that's that kind of bonding in a game just doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
And we're glad you decided to come on, buddy.
Yeah, like I said, I normally just listen. I was like, yeah, I'll come on and add my 2 cents.
Hey, we welcome everybody on this show. As long as you're not a Kickseye brown nose. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the community, this game would have died a long time ago. You know, the player base has revolted so many times, but it was the community that kept the players here, not the game. I truly believe that.
I think that's very true.
And now Kickseye is just trying to ride the wave, you know. But with them bringing this new management team in, like I said, they've not played the game. You know what I mean? I think there should be a requirement if you're going to be a part of the management staff and design staff for this team, through this game, you need to be in the community. Set up a fake, you know, set up a base. Don't let anybody know you work for Kickseye. Just set up a base and start out as a player and make friendships and learn the game and learn what players expect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they outlawed that in the game because of Admiral Shoulder Huggers / Calera. I've talked about him. You know, he was one of the game designers that I'm good friends with. And the problem is they know too much about the way the game works. Even if they're spending their own coins, they're way better than you are because they know the back end mechanics of the game. And it's tricky. It's tricky. I mean, I'm not even sure how to do it because they made the rule that Kickseye employees aren't allowed to go out and hit bases and do things like that. The first rule was they were allowed to hit back. But yeah, it's a weird mechanic that they created, and I'm not sure if he broke the game as far as that goes because he's a very competitive person. And, you know, because he was actually, before he started working for Kickseye, he was actually, I forget the game, one of those karate games. He was at national tournaments associated with the game. He was a very good game player walking in. And then you give him the background information and the competitive drive associated with at least the early days of Battle Pirates. It was, he just rolled people. No, you know, he rolled the best people, you know, because he had the knowledge. And that's one of the things that I've been trying to push forward is why are our blueprints wrong? Why are our displays wrong? Why don't we have the knowledge that the Kickside people have as far as the way the game works? And that's one of the parts that I find really disappointing is that we can't trust blueprints. We can't trust the mechanics in the game unless we test them out, you know, at our own cost. It costs coins, it costs gold to test things out, unless you're on these test servers. And then I think they only have like 2 hours to test out something every once in a while. And it's a weird thing. There was you know, that was when everybody liked the game, that was going on, but a lot of players did not like the fact that was going on. The fact that there was Kickseye employees that were playing in the game, hitting bases, doing all these things. but the game was better, but there was a lot of complaints filed against them.
All right. Okay. So let's look at it from a different perspective, though. All
Okay.
right. Even this would have been better than what they did. So Rampage is leaving, right? So he probably gave his notice 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, right? And so they knew they were gonna. So they made the decision. Okay, we're gonna bring Chris over and make him the new community manager. Well, for these last 2, 3, 4 weeks, they should have had Chris doing his full-time hours, doing nothing but learning the game. You know, they should have said, "Okay, Chris, you're getting ready to take over Battle Pirates. So for the next 2 weeks, your time on and at Kickside is going to be playing Battle Pirates. You're going to get out there, start a base, and play with the community and learn what they're all about, so that when we throw you to the wolves, you at least got a basic understanding of what the hell's going on."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have been better than just bringing somebody from another game and saying, "Okay, hey, we're dropping it on you. This is now your game. Make it happen."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wait,
John
so
said
what's going to happen to the ramp? Sorry.
Rampage decided to leave. He's going to
okay.
LA. He's going to
The
LA.
Friday.
He's going to be the next. He's replacing Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean 6. Just so you know. And this hasn't been confirmed yet.
Apparently he's old and chubby.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's chubby, but he's getting up there. How old is Johnny Depp at this point? He's. Yeah. Pirates don't live that fucking long, do they? So, yeah. It's okay for employees to play the game, but they can't get free coin. Yeah, that's part of what I was talking about.
He's 55.
Okay. Do pirates live that long, Corey? The ones that you know, because Corey hangs out with pirates in his spare time. I don't think there's many 55-year-old pirates.
Usually 45.
Yeah,
Right.
45 is the end, and then they're gone. So many die at 22. But yeah, well, I'm not sure what kind of show we're doing at this point. We're doing lifespan of pirates, but but as far as they can't get free coin, even when they are spending their own money. Okay, now we got a disagreement. Some people now it's 58. He's aged 3 years in the last minute, but
Google says otherwise.
yes, yes. I don't know. Maybe there's different Googles in different countries, and I know there is, especially for Google Maps. I watched a YouTube special on that. That's fascinating. The fact that Google Maps is the cartographers of the world at this point. And, like if there's a disagreement between Russia and China or India and China and whatnot, different countries are going to get different maps. I found that pretty fascinating. But the point of a really involved game developer being able to play the game even without coins, not having 30,000 coins in his account and having R16 crap, is the knowledge of the game that we don't see, because our blueprints a lot of times are wrong. They've been fixing blueprints, and I appreciate that. But it creates a situation where they know way more than us, way more than we do. And strategy. This is a strategy game, right? Strategy is based on intelligence, not your personal intelligence, but knowledge of the situation. And they have way more than we do.
Well, that's why I was saying like Chris should have been thrown into the game. They knew Rampage was leaving, and then Chris should have, before he even got into the programming part of the game, you know what I mean, and the design and development of the game, he should have been told, okay, you're getting ready to go onto the Battle Pirates team. So for the next 2 weeks, we want you to log in. You're going to come into work. You're going to log in. You're going to start a base. You're not going to be in the design meetings. You're not going to be seeing what's going on in the background. You're just going to be a player for the next 2 weeks. And, take your coins, spend what you want to spend, do what you can do, interact with the community, and figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? Then when they let him into the design aspect of the game, he would have a better understanding of what the player base is expected. Does that make sense?
It does, except for our player base. I don't know what I've been playing for over 8 years, according to Kixeye. And I think a lot of the people on the show have been playing for 4 or 5 years. And so he understands what it is to be a noob in this game, which is a big thing that they need to understand, is because, Holsch did this whole, Holsch coming of age thing where he started an alt base through Armor or whoever, and was realizing all the problems associated with starting the game. But it doesn't bring 2 weeks does not bring up any sort of CM or whatnot to even close to the knowledge base.
No. I just want they needed to, if they actually played the game before they became part of the team, they would have at least a basic understanding of what the player base is like and what we expect. Because they'd be in the chats, they would be out there with their ships. They'd be, hey, can you guys? Because if you don't give them the information, then they don't know what the builds are. They don't know what things do, so they'd be asking questions of the players instead of, getting on their computer and saying, "Okay, let me look at this code here." You know what I'm saying? And the players would be giving them their perspective. Okay, well, if you build this ship like this, you can hit this target, or you can drive this pattern, or this is the problem that we're seeing right now. Because really, there's, other than the town hall, which is all just top end coiners, you know what I'm saying, or the forums, which is just crap. It's a bunch of trolls right now. There's really no open line of communication to the actual heart of the game. And if they were just to get in and play the game before they were given any of the background information, to where they had to rely on the community to actually learn the game, they would have a better understanding of what it is that's going on in the game.
Yeah, and that would be great. And it's because I'm torn here, because at this point in time we're sort of forced to talk about fixing the game. It's not reason, I think a lot of people got on these shows, they got on the shows to help players figure out, what to do in the game. And it's been so long, we gave a couple little tips earlier, and it shows a disconnect, the fact that what we were talking about all the time now is like how to fix the game. And I just don't know. I don't know how to feel about that, because it's like, I think a lot of people that watch the shows find that boring. They want to show up on the shows, figure out how to get better in the game. And what do they do? What do we need to do in order to figure out how to make that happen again? Because we shouldn't be talking about that. This game should be, with the amount of money people are spending on the game, that's what we should be talking about. Like how to get better, not how to fix it. And I'm a little crosswise with that whole thing.
I understand that, Heavy, but if you look back to the days when we were doing these shows and we were going on and giving all the tips and the tricks and everything else, but back during that time, it wasn't cookie cutter builds. So we would be discussing, 10, 15 different styles of ships and builds to hit a target. You know what I'm saying? Well, this might work better than that. You know what I mean? We can't do that anymore because it's gone cookie cutter. Then the other aspect of the game, is the fact that, hang on, I've lost my damn train of thought. But anyways, they've boxed us in, and then the communication's no longer there. We don't have any avenue of communication coming out of Kixeye, because the people that are getting the information from the previews and from town halls are silenced. If you talk, you're done. You're out of the game. You know what I mean? So those people are completely silenced. So they can't pass on any insight that they're learning, so that we can't pass it on to the community.
Well, they do. They just don't do it directly. I mean, if you watch any of those videos that players that are in the town hall put out, you think they spent all? I don't even want to get into that. But yeah,
and then as the game's bled out, we've lost other sources of information, like the data mining. We used to use the data mining to help the players out. You got to admit that, Hefe. We used to pull up you pull the data mining numbers up.
Yeah,
we would dig through them, and we'd be like, okay, if you guys do this and this, then this is going to work out better for you. But we don't have that avenue of information either anymore.
Yeah.
See what I mean? We've been cut off.
Well, yeah. And one way we were cut off was if the blueprints were correct, that would fix things.
That would help, yes.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. You know, like it's the information that, you know, like I said earlier, it's a strategy game, and we need to have the right information in order to go and build and, you know, conquer and do whatever to play the game properly. And we've been shown, you know, every week that we don't have the right information. We don't have the right information in our base. We have sort of crazy information associated with our ships. There's a lot of information that we do not know until you have data mining, or you have people that can get into free previews, or you're in an alliance where people are willing to spend a lot of coins in order to test things out. But I'm not sure that a professional game at this level should require any of those things. So
no, it shouldn't. But the other aspect is just right back to the whole cookie cutter. That right there has been one of the biggest things that's impacted things. Because if you think back 2-3 years ago, you know, we didn't have these cookie cutter fleets. You know, you could get one ship and you could say, okay, well, how can I build this to hit the FM? And how can I build this to hit players' bases? And how can I do this, you know, to hit this target or to do this TLC? And so we may have one ship, and we'd be sharing over the next 2-3 weeks, 7, 8, 9, 10 different builds for one ship with different strategies and different driving patterns and everything else to play different aspects of the game. But now it's okay. If you want to hit the SSRB, well, you're what? You need to either have Hydras or Protosens, and they got to be built this way or they're not going to work. And if you want to hit the other side, then you pretty much got to have the Proto Tide Seekers to carry somebody through, or it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? You want to do the raid, one fleet. May have a couple different builds for it, but it's still just one fleet, you know, pretty much basic design on how it's built. You know what I mean? The pattern is the basic pattern. Once someone finds it, then everybody runs to it. Mm-hmm. You know, so there's not a lot of strategy left. You see what I mean? The cookie cutter has pretty much been killing the strategy in a strategy game.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things. I mean, we could talk a lot about this. I mean, one of the things I thought about earlier today, and I've thought about multiple times, was the fact that the build and repair times, you know, everybody talks about that, but they felt very well balanced at the start of the game. And, you know, like your tier 4 turrets, I mean, they had a repair time of, you know, it was like 3 or 4 hours. And then now, you know, as we up it, we add to it, as opposed to normalizing on what they started off with. Is the top is going to require the top tier of whatever is going to require X, Y, and Z. They keep on increasing things as opposed to reducing the older technology behind it. They have, and I do agree, they have reduced some of the base level stuff, but that should just be part of the whole thing. The highest level turret takes this long to repair. It takes this long to build. Because I remember when people went sideways when it was at the very beginning. It took a floating fortress. Oh my God! It takes a week to build the whole thing. Now we're okay. It's 19, 20 days. It went up to some places close to 30 days to build one ship. They need to look at, like, okay, when the game was working well, this is what the top level repair, build, all these things were. And once they introduce something new, they need to reduce everything automatically. It's not like the players bitching about it, nothing else like that. They just need to look at when the game was as successful as it was, just building from that point and not increasing, because people were cool with that. People understood that this is a good thing at this point in time. I want to play. This is manageable for the player base. And it was getting fucked up with glitch repairing, hacking, and all that stuff in between. So I don't blame it all on them. But, it's just keep on increasing, because that's one of the things I don't like about Bounty. Okay, we're going to have a 4-hour bubble if you get level. But, okay, well, nothing's really going to be fixed by the time your bubble's over because we kept on increasing time. It seems like they created that bubble time 8 years ago. I don't know.
No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, Bounty is broke. And the easiest thing I could think of that would be beneficial to the player base is if during Bounty, if you're going to only have a 4-hour bubble, then your base and your guard fleet need to repair in 2. Period. You know what I mean? Let the players play the game. Because like I said at the beginning of the show, I got all these messages from all these other players and stuff telling me how horrible it was and my advice was bad, because they couldn't play their game. So I decided this time to do it. No coin, slow repair, everything. And it is brutal. It is a horrible experience. I wouldn't wish this game. I wouldn't pass this game on to my worst enemy at this point playing this way. It's just like, wow, really? I never, because I'm a coiner, so I never realized how it was for the non-coiners and the smaller players in the game. And I thought the things I was saying was good advice, and it turns out that I was completely off base. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm going to shut down the live stream soon. Logan, you haven't said anything. Is there anything that you would like to say? Unless he walked away.
Not really.
Okay, just checking.
Sorry.
It's no problem. I was just checking in, because
I just muted the mic because I'm at a truck stop. So.
Okay, all right, all good. I was just checking in with you because I think I'm going to end the live stream soon. I'm not sure we have. We've already gone through the psychology of Battle Pirates, Bounty, Rampage leaving. We've run through a lot of stuff. I'm not sure how much of stuff that people want to hear about, but we have run through it. A lot of content that's, somebody could watch at some point in time. I'm just, unless anybody has anything else that they think we should talk about.
Yeah, there's a bug in the game, and I wish KixEye would fix it. Why the heck, if you put a Mort ship in your guard fleet, won't the damn thing fire?
Can you explain that a little bit more? I mean, I haven't done that.
I built a P Mauler with some Morts on it, threw it in my guard just as a test because I had another player tell me that their Morts weren't firing if they were in their base anymore. And so I built a P Mauler, threw some, coined it out, threw some Morts on it, stuck it in my base. It just sits there, looks pretty, will never shoot a shot off. No matter where I position it in my base, it will not fire. But I can put it in my fleet and launch it out on the map, and it works fine. Makes absolutely no sense to me why that's happening. Now, I've taken videos and sent them off to Kix, but, whether or not if anything's going to come from that, I have no idea. But it doesn't make sense. Why is it that now there's this bug in the game that if you got them, and I got one person that told me, well, if you got a gate up, then it's behind the gate. That's what's causing it not to fire. But that still shouldn't cause it not to fire. There's, it's got its targeting range. You know what I mean? So it should still be firing. So so people kind of keep an eye out, see if you can figure out what's going on. Maybe we can get it up to Kix and see if they can't take a look at it and figure out what the heck's happening with it, because it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I got my base smacked 4 times since Bounty started, and it's never fired once. And I've had some pretty big players even commented on it. And Ewok sent me a comment and said, "Did you just put a bare hole in your base guard?" He's like, "No." So there is that bug going on. So so I wouldn't recommend anybody until we figure out what's going on. Be leery if you got any kind of Mort chucker inside your base guard. Watch it closely and see if it's working or not. If it's not, take a picture, take a video, send it to Kix.
What's going to happen to the Friday shows? The Rampage Live.
Well, if we're real lucky, Rampage will still do his show. He'll just do it from the Black Pearl. But I wouldn't count it out. I think we're going to get cut off from that line of communication. You know, it's going to go the way the whip went. And that kind of saddens me because at least it was some communication between Kicks and the player base. So if Kicks you're watching, you know, either bring the whip back or find you a new face man that you can put in front of the camera, because it was at least something that was helping the player base some. You know, we were at least getting a little bit of foreknowledge of what was to come sometimes. So it did help. Did Heavy go to get a beer?
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope everybody's still, you know, we're weathering a storm right now. It's a nasty one on the high seas, and we're weathering it. We'll just have to see if we manage to find land or not. If not, some opportunistic person needs to form up a support group called Battle Pirates Anonymous.
Hello, my name's Tank, and I'm a BP junkie.
I think we all are. Do you know the National Health Organization actually has listed the addiction that we have in this game, this kind of an addiction, as being an actual mental health issue?
I believe it.
Yeah, they said addiction to video games is now is actually a mental health issue that needs to be treated. And that's what the National Health Organization, they released that, what was it, like 4 months ago? They did a big report about it. And that groups like us that get addicted to these games and get on here every day and play every day and spend money on it and everything else, that are addicted to the game, that's an actual mental health problem. I was really
isn't that like gambling as well?
Yeah. Yeah, they said it falls into the same category as gambling.
And at your age.
I know. I should be ashamed of myself.
Well, I was talking to Corey, but
oh, he's starting young. He's got plenty of years to get help.
Right.
Corey, go find help. You're addicted, buddy. Go get your help.
There's many years of addiction to go.
I still participate in physical activities, so.
I think some of us older gents has been playing forever. I don't think there's any help for us.
There's no help. No. Just have to do a cold turkey, or there's no weaning.
Yeah, but the withdrawal symptoms are just horrible.
You know, I'll be honest. I wouldn't have a damn thing to do except maybe go for a bike ride a day, or go find some place to do work, or volunteer or something like that. Otherwise, I'd be sitting on my can watching TV if it wasn't for this.
Yeah, and the whole time you were watching TV, you'd be thinking, I wonder if something's changed in the game. Maybe I should log in and check.
Well, that's why, yeah. I mean, you'd have to go cold turkey. Just have to make it so you can't. But, yeah, I know what you're saying. It is an addiction. Absolutely 100%.
All right. You guys running out of stuff to say?
Oh yeah, we were just waiting for you to come back, Hefe. We were talking about how this is a mental addiction and we needed a Battle Pirates Anonymous.
Yeah. It's a matter of fixing some of the simple parts of the game, and we'll see if they listen at some point to what the players have been saying, what they participate in, what they don't participate in, and see if they figure it out at the end of the day. So, all right. Unless anybody has any parting words, I will post the link to the show, the after show, one last time, and we can move on unless anybody has anything else they would like to say.
No,
Okay.
Everybody, good night.
Okay, later, people, and
Hasta la vista, baby.
There we go. We got Arnold here. So good night, everybody, and we'll be around on Wednesday. And have a pleasant bounty, and that FM
God bless
grind.
us, everyone.
That's